Hi, Vinita. Welcome. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining in.
Today's actually session is also a continuation of our last week session because right during the last session and also later we got a lot of requests asking Sujati to talk and elaborate more about what we are and how does the body speak to ourselves. So I was actually contemplating, Didi, and to our dear friends, that we all are so social in our life, and we possibly have 500 or more friends on FB, and we are so easy and befriending to them. At a click of a mouse, we become friends. But we are not our friends ourselves. We do not befriend our own self. We do not understand what our body says, or we possibly think that our body will talk to us in English, Hindi, or something. But we just do not see the signals that come to our body and and I think to my little understanding, when what we want and what we do, that does not sink in, is where the problem occurs. uh, does that happen? How do we really decipher the language of the body? Because I think it is so unique to each one.
You said something, Vinita, that what we want and what we do is not in alignment. But actually, uh, maybe it's the same thing put in different words. What I understand is that what we want and what is happening, you know, if it is in our control, then what we want is what we will do, isn't it? So doing is not in our control. So what we want and what is happening, when that is not in alignment, then there's a resistance. Any disease, any discomfort, not just physically in the body, any form of, ease, meaning you're not at ease, you're not at comfort, you're not in alignment with what is happening, only comes in because there is a resistance. There is a resistance. I don't want to go there. I don't want to join this college. I don't want to do this particular job, but I'm having to do it, or universe or life has put me into it, so I'm having to do it, and that's why I'm not at ease, I'm not comfortable.
Bunny or somewhere.
So that's where the resistance comes in. And that resistance is what is the disease, really. Like I mentioned last time also, disease is dis ease, this ease. So basically it is only because of resisting the way life is going. And we did mention a lot about the body mind connect and the different aspects of the different diseases that we sort of struggle with, not only physical, even mental, even emotional. So very important for us to understand what our body is wanting. So many times when we are eating something, or we are wanting there's a craving in the mind, but the body is saying something different. The body is saying it's not time to eat, you're not really hungry, or something different from what the mind is asking you to do. So that's where the whole sort of contradiction begins to come in. I'm giving you something which is a very real life example, isn't it? So many times we feel, oh, I just feel like eating a particular say a scoop of an ice cream or a pastry because it's lying in the refrigerator. You're absolutely full, you don't feel the need to eat, but we want to do that only to satisfy some kind of a mental satisfaction in the mind, isn't it? That is why we get into it. So, and when you eat it at that time, okay, for a few seconds you enjoy it, and before you know it, it's like not, it hasn't gone well with your body, or you're not able to sleep, or you catch a cold or something like that. It's only because you are thinking of that same thought. Should I be eating? Should I not be eating? The mind is saying, okay, it's okay to eat, you'll enjoy it. But the body is saying, no, I just don't want it. It's not really needed. And that's when the food is not accepted by the body. And that's when the discomfort begins to happen.
We also feel guilty. Like the example, and so
Maybe
many
not.
times there is something like, we are not supposed to be eating it, but still we eat it, possibly as a reaction to maybe a sense of depression that you're feeling, or that's also a possibility for obesity when we do eating out of a psychological reason. So I think that guilt, if that sets in, doesn't it affect more making it a dis-ease kind of a thing?
Yes, you can say to some extent. Definitely there could be guilt, because like we spoke last time, and actually I was reading up a little bit on this through the week, most of the illnesses that we attract and the corresponding emotions, as we had spoken last time, most of the corresponding emotions, we can totally relate to the functioning of that body organ, like anger is related to the liver. But I found these two emotions, guilt and anger, actually overruling the other emotions, because any form of pain is actually guilt, coming from self-punishment or leading to self-punishment, or coming from hurt, any of those emotions. But a lot of what we suffer in the body is also coming from the fact that it is pent up anger. It is a lot of pent up anger, and that leads to a lot of issues. Pain is a lot of times also due to anger. You do not know how to express that anger physically, or you're not able to speak, or you're not able to fully express that anger in your life or in your situation, and so you bottle it up, and then it just erupts. It just comes out, it just erupts, and that's what causes the discomfort. It is not eruption of the anger, it is the eruption of a disease in your body. You may still be holding on to that anger, so how will it come out? How will it be expressed out? It could come out in the form of, say, some boils, some eruption, something to do with the skin. All these are associated with suppressed anger, as are other diseases like the liver, or even pain is a lot associated with anger. So important for us to release these, and that's where all these healing modalities come into play. And so they help us to, release rather than bottle up those emotions. And sooner or later, they have to come out in some form or the other. Where will they go? Where will they go? They have to come out in some form or the other. And the body can only process it to that level. Beyond that, the body cannot process it. So then the body will invariably bring it out in some form or the other. And that's when the discomfort begins to happen.
I'll share something. Sorry, I'm interrupting.
Yes, please go ahead, Vinita. Go ahead. Please go ahead.
Last time you mentioned about UTI, so I had a very amazing kind of experience. So there's this very close neighbor. So her mother is always suffering with UTI. So I just told her, I said, this could be underlying factor of UTI, as whatever you told her, I mentioned it to her. And I had no idea that actually there was a rift between the siblings. The mother felt responsible for it, and she was crying, and she told me the entire story. She said I had no idea that that's what it is, because repeatedly and for days and months, Didi, she has UTI, and she doesn't go out, or she's not using public loo or any of those things. So it just felt so much connect. So if you could actually maybe talk about UTI, because UTI, a lot of people suffer from.
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. And actually what I also saw was that, UTI, if we just look at it literally, from the point of literally, what does it mean? It's actually, when we say UTI, it's actually feeling, I read this somewhere, it's actually feeling pissed off with somebody. It's actually feeling pissed off with somebody. So again, it comes down to anger in some form or the other, doesn't it? So it's actually that feeling. Yeah. So Pritika, do you have a question on this line, or is it something different?
Same, Auntie. So let's say if there are like recurring issues which are coming up. So let's say one health issue gets resolved, then another comes up, then another. Then how do you identify with multiple health issues? Just so one, like, while they don't all come together, but they are coming at rapid speed. So how do you identify and understand what is the underlying cause for it?
Thank you so much for asking this question. And I'm going to give a reply in a way which you will really understand. It's just like, supposing you're dealing with the emotion of hurt. Okay, I'm really feeling hurt. I'm really feeling upset about what has happened. Very soon you feel the hurt turns to anger. isn't it? Then the anger could turn into resentment. So that's how you are feeling and processing it in your body. And that's how it gets manifested in the body. So when you have repeated illnesses, that means that obviously you have not fully resolved one issue and you're already moving on to the next. You must listen to last week's call. I don't think you were there, Pritika, but just go to YouTube and listen to it, because this is a lot in continuation with that. The
Sure.
topic, the heading basically was biology is biography. So telling you that whatever we are going through in the body is totally your life story. It's totally your life, depiction of your life in a different way. So when you say that, you keep falling sick, yes, you say your immunity is low. Okay, maybe you're falling sick again and again in different ways. And the body is not able to cope with those illnesses. So obviously your body's immunity is low. Why would our immunity be low? Immunity is what? It's like a safety factor in the body, isn't it? So when our safety guards are off, or we don't have that will to live, or our body is not able to cope with what is happening in life, that's when we'll attract one illness and another illness and another illness. In fact, when we were putting up today's talk, the first line that originally we had put up in the poster, Srishti had put up, was that everything is created by us. Whatever we are thinking, that is creating our life. But I thought that it is too vast to put it right, right away. I thought, let's just go first physically talking about the body, and then maybe we can go further to the mind and the other thoughts. So you are attracting that illness. In a way, you are totally attracting that illness. Anybody would say that, why would I attract that illness? Why would I attract any kind of an illness? But yes, you are not able to, your vibrations, as I had explained last time, and I'm not going to go back into it, but the vibrations that you're feeling in the body are not resonating with what is happening, with the vibrations of the things around you. And that is the mismatch. And so one after another, maybe it's first in a relationship at home, then it could be something in your job, then it could be something, your own personal mindset. So anything can provoke any part of the body. And that would lead to, the repeated illnesses in some ways.
Okay.
Does that make sense, Pritika?
It does. It does.
Yeah. And if you feel you just bring up specific questions, then maybe we can answer them more specifically in that way. So as Vinita was asking, you also need to understand, and as I was explaining last time also, that when we say cancer is totally resentment in the body, it's an extra useless growth. And what is resentment? Resentment is also holding on to something which is useless. It is an extra, it's resentment with something that has happened in life. It has no value in your life at all. And when you keep sort of nurturing that resentment, if you don't let go, if you don't forgive, then obviously you're nurturing that resentment. And that we say one word like resentment, but resentment has so many underlying emotions, isn't it? Anger could lead to resentment, hurt could lead to resentment, guilt could lead to resentment. Name any emotion. Jealousy could lead to resentment. Insecurity could lead to resentment. Unworthiness, a sense of failure, depression, anything could lead to resentment, isn't it? So we can't, even though we pinpoint the major emotions, the bigger thing is to understand how we need to get out of that emotion. Once we've identified it, how to get out of that emotion. And that is where we need to exercise all these healing modalities that I speak about. But what I also understood and reflected on after last week's talk, that if we do something like forgiveness for that issue, forgiveness for that body part which is ailing, right? Forgiveness for whatever has created that, a lot gets resolved. So even though we are talking very specifically in this talk about, say, issue A, issue B, or disease this, whether it's diabetes, whether it's hypertension, whether it's UTI, whether it's cancer, even though we are talking about them differently, and if we go into details about it, that okay, so who am I holding resentment with? Who am I holding anger with? How much is my anger justified? Let's not go into all those questions. Let's not go into all those questions, because I want to really help you, or not help, maybe just show you that whatever may be the reason, whatever may be the story behind the whole issue, it actually is irrelevant. You just need to raise your vibrations to that level. And imagine if we practice something like forgiveness on a daily basis or on a regular basis, our vibrations invariably are going to be at a high, in a high vibration, and automatically the underlying issues will get resolved. Otherwise, again, we are going into, okay, let's fix this anger with this person. Let me deal with this issue. Let me settle my mind that, yeah, this is not so. It's so. It's like, again, engaging too much in the mind. And I don't want us to go down that path anymore. We may have done that for many, many years, but now we have an easier path. Now we have a different way to look at these things. Just move into the space. Okay, I'm suffering from this. I don't know what has caused this. If there is any resentment, if there is any anger, if there is any guilt that I'm holding, let me just ask for forgiveness for this issue, for this disease. Because at the end of the day, what is it that I'm seeking? I'm seeking to be free from this discomfort in my body. I'm seeking to be free from this space of dis-ease, which is not allowing me to live my life to the fullest. Does that make sense? Because if we go into the story of it, yes, mind may be satisfied for some time and may get an answer for some time, but will it really last? Will it really last? I'm not so sure about that. Because once we resolve one thing, then there'll be the next thing, then there'll be the next thing. That's how our monkey mind is, isn't it? That's how the mind usually works.
Yeah. We usually try to numb ourselves when we don't want to feel our emotions. We go into a caffeine thing or an alcohol. I was reading these somewhere that when people feel misunderstood, that's the time when the immune system gets affected the most, and hence whatever things start. So, as you said, we should do forgiveness. So, how do we do forgiveness on a daily basis? Some prayer or Ho'oponopono?
Our famous Ho'oponopono prayer is the best for forgiveness. I mean, everybody should use it every day in the morning as you get up, every night before you go to bed. You just use it in general. Just use it in general for, what is, that's all that you need to do. And you'll see how powerful it becomes, how much it empowers you. It really, really empowers us. And I know so many of you here on this call have used it and practiced it. Yes, Natasha, before we go off the call, we'll all do the prayer for ourselves and for all of us here.
And I'd request you to just send it, so because I don't know that prayer totally.
Okay, I'll definitely send it out on the group. We'll write it out on the group, and I'll even give you some YouTube links which you can just play. It's like a mantra, like we play the Gayatri mantra, like we play the Mahamrityunjay mantra or a Vaheguru chant. It's the same way you can play this. There's so many of them on YouTube, and I feel it's life-changing. I'll explain a little bit also about it as we go on this call.
I just wanted to ask you what is the process of doing it and how to get about that forgiveness, factor. So if you can explain it a little, then.
Yeah. So see, what do we mean when we say forgiveness or anything that is troubling us in our life? What is the thing that we usually hear ourselves saying or others saying? Or what is our body telling us? Our body is just telling us to just let go of that issue, isn't it? Even if you have a small argument, what would you say? Okay, yeah, let's forget it. Let's just let go. Because if we hold on to it, that's what creates a sense of discomfort. Somebody said something, it just hurt you because you interpreted it in some way. The person may have been going through their own process, and it may not even have been targeted at you. But if you're not feeling good about it, it'll immediately come and hit you, right? And then you'll hold on to it. How did she say this? How did he say this? Why did he say this? So I feel that, when you get into that, the major underlying thought or the underlying guidance that even you will give yourself or your body will give you is that just let go. Even when we have repetitive thoughts in our mind, when we can't meditate, or when we get into a space where, there's a lot of chatter in the mind, what is it that we're trying to do? I just want to let go of this past trauma that keeps popping up. I just want to release this thought that keeps coming up again and again. I just keep getting that thought of fear, which really does not even exist. So that means the main thing is to let go. And forgiveness in a different way is a very important way of letting go. I feel it's the simplest way of letting go. And what does it give you? It's so liberating, isn't it? It's like you're holding on to that resentment. He said this, she said this. That person may have even moved on in their lives into the other realm, but you are still holding on to that hurt, isn't it? How dare she say this to me? I'll never speak to her in my life. I mean, is it worth it? Is it worth not speaking to the other person or breaking off on that relationship? As acute as an argument it might be. Okay, you can be silent, you can be, maybe not engaged beyond a point, but is it so important to, break off relationships if they are meaningful relationships? And whom is it hurting? The other person may have moved on in their life. They might be doing whatever they need to, but who is hurting? Your body is hurting. And what is your body saying? Arey, let go, let go. He said, she said, it's fine. They did this, they did that. They did not do. It is basically something that just had to happen in that way. Fair, unfair, justice, injustice. We can't argue with that. That's the universal plan. But what can you get out of it is what you need to reflect on. If it had to happen some other way, it would have happened. Every time I repeat this, that there are no two ways in life. We keep thinking, had I not done this, had I been living a healthy life in my younger age, I would not have had this illness in my old age. But if you had that wisdom, knowledge, or if your destiny was not to attract that disease, you would not have attracted it. And we know of cases where people have absolutely, their lifestyle is very good, or they don't engage in that, but still they have that illness in their body. So obviously there are so many factors beyond just one factor. It's your destiny. It's something that you have chosen for some way. And in fact, it brings me to a very important thing. A lot of times people who fall sick or attract diseases again and again in their lives, it also comes from a program that they carry. And I'm using this from my knowledge and understanding of SRT, which is called attracting attention. Attracting attention, because a lot of times we see, and we say this more for young children, but even as adults, we can have the same kind of programming in our subconscious mind. When children want attention, they usually fall sick, isn't it? Because that's the only way that the parents will turn their attention to them. If they're unwell, if they have fever, if then, the parents would take a leave, they would spend a day with them, totally nurture the child. So this attracting attention even carries on in elders. In fact, sometimes you even say that when you meet accidents, or you keep meeting accidents again and again in your life, it's all the time to attract attention, because you want your parents' attention to be towards you. You keep falling, the parent will immediately rush to pick you up. You start crying, the parent will immediately come to soothe you, isn't it? So children definitely a lot of times do that. So reflect on that also. We keep having accidents, or we keep having falls because we want in some ways to get attention from others, or to, just get that love that we are feeling deprived of. And I think it makes complete sense to me. It makes complete sense to me. So very important to reflect on these things. So going back to the fact of, even if it is to get love, even if it is to get attention, the fact is that physically you're going through a form of discomfort. And for that, important to let go of whatever it is that you're carrying, which is creating this discomfort in your body. And last time we spoke about all emotions, as low as guilt, which is as good as feeling I'm not worthy of living, or something even, mild, something very mild, like when we have an acidity and we feel I just can't digest the food that I eat, and in a way reflecting on it and seeing that I just can't digest life. Or a headache which comes due to stress. So many things are there which, you need to just reflect back and deal with that emotion to move ahead and really release that physical disease from your body. And it's not impossible. I know of so many people, in fact, most of the things that I'm quoting now are coming from this book by Louise Hay called You Can Heal Your Life. And she was somebody who is actually a living example of this work that we all do. She's, of course, our guru in terms of whatever we learned about the body-mind connect. So she had cancer. She had cancer and she was given all of 4 months to live. And I think she lived more than 40 years after that. And what was the reason? Cancer, like we said, is all about resentment. So she was, as a child, sexually abused many times by many people in her life. So that's why, where was the resentment in her body? The resentment in her body was in her vagina, in her uterus. And she was given, the doctor said that the cancer is so deep and so, like, so advanced that you cannot live more than, your body cannot survive more than 4 months. And so what is the counterpart to resentment? It's forgiving. Who would say that it's okay to forgive somebody who has physically abused you? Nobody would agree to that, isn't it? Everybody would say, I mean, how ridiculous. How can you forgive somebody who's sexually abused you? But you're not forgiving those people for what they have done. You're only asking to release your energy that is trapped in that whole situation. You're only asking, and it's a very subtle difference. People have lived with it and they have, sort of taken birth after birth, carrying that resentment, and ultimately in a couple of lifetimes, it develops as cancer in the body. I'm just not talking about sexual abuse, I'm talking about resentment. So she chose to forgive for her own self. And she practiced so much of forgiveness. She's given us so many affirmations for every disease that we have. Practicing those affirmations and actually seeking forgiveness from whom? From your body. And repeating this, even the Ho'oponopono prayer is targeting the same thing. Just asking to ease out or release that pain body that is lodged in your body. Where does that pain body come from? That pain body is created by the thoughts that you're thinking. This happened with me. Even if we talk about abuse, this happened with me. And repeatedly you're feeling victimized, you're feeling helpless, you're feeling totally, lack of support. All these things lead to what? And you're all bottling it up. You're all bottling it up. What does it lead to? An extra growth in the body. But she chose to forgive those people and forgive herself. Because whatever we might say, again, even though nobody would attract an abusive relationship or an act of sexual abuse towards them, but there is something in your subconscious or something that makes it happen in that way, or that happened in your life, if I may just say it simply, not going into further details. So if that situation happened in your life, something as intense as a sexual abuse, or something as simple as just an outburst of anger with your child or with your partner, the fact is that it has created a disruption of your body's energy system. And through these processes, whether it is EFT, whether it is Reiki, whether it is the Ho'oponopono prayer, we're trying to get those two back into alignment. So whatever it is, let us try and understand how this Ho'oponopono prayer can really, really help us to deal with this. So this prayer, this Ho'oponopono prayer, I learned it pretty early in my journey of, when I started working with energy. And I still can swear by it because it can just shift your energy. Only thing is that you have to remember to practice it. You have to remember that it is not something that needs an initiation. It is not something that needs you to, do some courses. It's just a simple 4-line chant that you need to repeat, understanding what each statement means. So it's a Hawaiian prayer given to us by someone called Dr. Hu Len. And he's written a book called Zero Limits. If any of you are interested, you can read further on it. So what does he say? I'm just taking just the crux of the whole thing, not going into deeper, deeper details about the prayer. The first line that I ask people to do about this prayer is to take responsibility for that situation, whether it's an acidity, whether it's a migraine, whether it's a broken relationship, whether it's a financial crisis, whether it's a cancer. Start by saying, I take full and complete responsibility for this. Now, in this, you could write an emotion like anger, guilt, fear, or you could even state a situation. I take full and complete responsibility for this fear of flying. I take full and complete responsibility for this lack of focus. It can be anything. Like I said, as acute as a cancer or as simple as a, as a headache. And then we actually say another statement which says, please erase all programs and records from my memory that is causing this to happen. So we are asking that whatever is programmed in my subconscious that is leading to this, I'm asking to erase those. And then we chant those 4 statements. So actually first, by taking responsibility, half the problem is gone, because the focus shifts where? From outside, blaming others, blaming the situation, blaming the person, blaming life. We start taking responsibility ourselves. And again, the mind will pop up and say, but I mean, I'm not responsible for this. He did this, she did this, they did this. But you are only taking responsibility to release your energy, to be free for yourself, to free yourself, in fact, not even free for yourself, but just to free yourself. So you say, I take responsibility for this headache, for this migraine, for this pain in my shoulder, for this anger I have against so-and-so. And then we say, please erase all programs and records from my memory that is causing this to happen. And then we start chanting these 4 statements. The first statement is, I'm sorry. Second is, please forgive me. Third is, I love you. And fourth is, thank you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. So when you're saying sorry, whom are you saying sorry to? Are you blaming yourself? Are you blaming somebody else? No, you're not blaming anybody. Actually, when you take responsibility in the first statement, when you say, I take full and complete responsibility for this, you are actually dissolving all separations. Because to do that, firstly, you have to let go of the ego. Supposing, somebody has had an argument and you're waiting for the other person to come and apologize to you so that you can then feel better or explain your situation and then, feel settled or feel okay with it. But the other person has no intentions of apologizing because he or she did not really feel that they have done anything wrong in that way. So how can you resolve? If you want to be out of that discomfort, your mind will keep saying again and again, why did she say this? She had no right to say this. I really didn't mean this. I was not saying anything. I've always been good to her. I've always worked for her. That's how our mind chatters to us, isn't it? All the time. But the fact is that, do you want to engage in that chatter, or do you want to be free from this discomfort that is being created, that you're feeling? Who has created the discomfort? You feel she said this, that is why I'm feeling the discomfort, but that's not true. She just said what she wanted to say. You allowed yourself to accept those words, to believe in those words and, impact your energy. So when you say, I take responsibility, the focus shifts from outside to inside. That is the first thing that begins to happen. So I have taken responsibility because I am the one who's being impacted. But more than that, it is really dissolving the difference between her and him and me. Whoever has done this, it doesn't matter. The fact is, I want to be free of this suffering. So I say, okay, I take responsibility for this. And when I say I don't say I as the person. I don't say I as Vinita. I don't say I as Srishti. It's I meaning I, a capital, a higher I, where you, me, Vinita, Srishti, Tanvi, Romila, everybody is one. There is no difference. So I take responsibility for the situation. And then, of course, like I said, we asked to erase those records in our subconscious that are making me attract this entire situation or this emotion. And then when I say I'm sorry, I'm not blaming person A, B, C, or even myself. I'm just saying sorry because there is this situation that exists, which is not making me feel comfortable. There is this negativity that exists in my life, and I'm just sorry that this exists. So I say, I'm sorry from the point of accepting that there is this negativity, and I'm sorry that this exists. And then the second statement is, please forgive me. So I'm not saying, please forgive me as in, asking you to forgive me. I am just saying whatever has caused the situation, the other person, my vibrations not being okay, me not feeling good about the situation, the other person being angry, the other person not agreeing to me not agreeing to the other person, my karma, the other person's karma, parents' karma, past life, this life. There could be a billion reasons why you're feeling this. So if you start thinking that what is causing this, you'll never get an answer. You'll never get an answer because every time the answer will be different. Sometimes, you know, and with the same problem, when we go to different people, they'll all give us different solutions, isn't it? Or different reasons for that disease. You go directly to a doctor or a medical person, they'll give you all the reasons why you have attracted this illness in your life or why you've got this. Your body part is not functioning normally. You've had an unhealthy lifestyle, whatever. And absolutely valid. You go to a healer, they'll dig out the emotional reasons. You've been carrying this resentment, you've had this in your past life. A therapist will also tell you that. You go to an astrologer, they'll say, oh, your planetary charts are telling me that at this time in your life, your Rahu Ketu are placed like this or whatever. So you're feeling you are bound to attract that illness. And you'll go to, say, somebody else. Everybody will give you valid reasons for that illness in your life. So where all will you keep going? How many remedies, how many things will you go to deal with to ease yourself out of that? So we say whatever has caused it, I don't even want to know the reason. I'm just saying, please forgive me. As simple as that. And vice versa, if there's anybody I need to forgive, I also say that I forgive them. And then we say, I love you, because we bring in the healing vibrations of love. You remember I spoke about the emotional guidance scale where we started, the lowest frequency was like guilt, depression, feeling as good as, it was as good as being dead. And then slowly moving up, moving up to the higher emotions like unworthiness, anger, frustration, irritation, impatience. And then somewhere coming in between to the emotion of love. And then moving beyond love. So when we say, I love you, we are asking for self-healing and self-love. And we know that whatever we might be going through, love is the energy that we all seek, isn't it? So we are bringing in consciously the vibrations of love to heal ourselves or to heal the situation. And then in the end, we say, thank you, because we know the vibrations, appreciation and gratitude are one of the highest on that emotional guidance scale. The higher we are in our vibrational scale, the higher emotions we'll feel and the better our body will feel. So I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Don't try to ask to whom am I saying, what is happening, what. Just keep repeating this without even understanding, and you will see a difference in your energy. And the other miraculous thing about this prayer is, since we are talking so much about it, and it's one of my favorites, you can do this for anybody. You can do this for anybody. Supposing two people are having, your children are arguing with each other, or they have a difference of opinion and, they're not talking to each other, or they're angry with each other. Now that is creating a discomfort in you as a mother, isn't it? And you're trying to pacify one, you're trying to tell the other, and he's saying, yeah, you always take the, you always take the side of the other person, other child, and the other child is saying you're always biased towards the older sibling. So you just get trapped in between, and it's of course creating so much discomfort in you. And you're waiting for each of them to resolve it amongst themselves to feel that sense of ease in you. But they may not choose to, but you can choose to release that discomfort from your own body, from your own life, by saying, I take responsibility for the discord between my two children. I take responsibility for, even during the lockdown and during the COVID, we chanted this prayer saying, I take responsibility for this COVID situation all over the world. Again, remember, the I is not this single I. The I is a universal I. But if each one takes responsibility for the situation, and then you ask to erase all those records that are making us attract this, and then you keep repeating, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. Just how the vibrations become so, so powerful. So when you say, I take responsibility for this argument between my children, you are operating from that space where you, your children, all the people suffering all over the world, there is no difference at all. Absolutely no difference at all. And actually, another thing that I have, experienced in this prayer is that when you do this for, you think you're doing it just for yourself. Supposing you're working on the emotion of anger. I take full and complete responsibility for this anger that I'm feeling. And you start chanting the statements, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. And you keep repeating it for a while till you come into a space of neutrality. So when you are working on the emotion of anger, it is not just your own anger that you're dealing with, because it's not you, a person who's just trying to focus on that one argument, which you may be thinking that you're doing. There could be 10 people in the universe, or maybe 100 people who are feeling angry, but this vibration goes to everybody because you are raising the vibration. And there could be so many others who are ready to let go of that anger. And you, by you doing the prayer, even those people are able to let go of that anger. Isn't it marvelous? Isn't it just so miraculous?
We can release our equation with those who have passed on to the other realm also with this prayer.
Absolutely. Absolutely,
And
you can. In the past, about 1 year, I have been working a lot with understanding energies, and I also somehow channeling is happening a lot with me in the past 6-8 months. I've been getting messages from people who have moved on, and I used to doubt myself a lot in the past. I used to doubt myself a lot because I'm not a person who's ever done channeling or have been, tuned into that. But I think the more clearer a channel you begin to become, you receive those messages even more easily. And I always used to doubt myself a lot in the past, but more and more now I feel that I don't even think about that message. It just comes out where it is meant to. And I know many years back, I received a message from somebody who I was working with as a Reiki, a person used to come to me, a lady used to come to me, and she used to take Reiki from me. And suddenly she just fell ill. Again, she had a UTI, and then she had multiple issues. She was in the hospital. And before we knew it, she passed on. She moved on. So her daughter used to come to me for healing. And suddenly one day I heard her, I just felt her energy, and I, like initially when you're not so grounded and you're not so confident on this path, you feel a little scared, or you feel, is my mind making it up or what? But there was a very clear message that she gave me for her daughter. But I was very scared and I did not want to share it with her daughter. So I just kept quiet. But it kept coming to me again and again. And then, of course, I reached out to Rohini, my teacher, and she said, don't hesitate, just speak it out. But I couldn't get myself to speaking. And after a couple of weeks, her daughter came to me for healing. And as I was giving her healing, the words just came out of my mouth. And I kept telling myself that, don't say this, because the daughter was, as it is, going through a trauma with the sudden loss of her mother. And whatever I conveyed to her, she was like quite shocked. And then I told her, just forget about it. I don't know why I'm saying this. But later on, she went and she verified those things that her mother had asked me to tell her. And it actually helped them a lot, because there were some things that she had wanted her children to know, which she had not known. And she had written it down in a little booklet, which is on her, under her bed in a particular cabinet. And she found it, and it was actually the image that I had described to her. So now, of course, I don't doubt myself at all. So coming back to the question of, what you had asked, Vinita, that even if people have moved on to the other realm, there is absolutely no difference, because even here we are not connecting to the person. We're actually praying for the person, whether they're in this physical body or they may have moved on, because we are connecting to that energy. That is all. We are connecting to that energy. So you can absolutely do this forgiveness, because what happens, and a lot of times I feel that when people pass on, especially untimely deaths, when children are not able to spend time with their parents, or siblings are not able to be with their loved ones, so many of us in the COVID we experience this, they carry so much of guilt. I wish I had met him before. I wish I had spent more time with them before. I wish I had done this and this for the other person. But so guilt is one emotion that really comes up very strongly. If you could not do it when the person was alive, do it now. Do forgiveness. Don't carry that pain. Don't carry that pain. The other person may not have even expected you to do what you're wanting to do, but you wanted to do it for the other person, isn't it? So do it now. Hold them in your visualization, do the Ho'oponopono prayer for them, and just speak your heart out. All these messages go across. It's an energy. If you do it with a pure, clear intent, you can always do it. Don't carry these pain bodies in you. They will come out. Doesn't matter whether the person is here or anywhere else. The other person is irrelevant. This just goes to show us that the other person is irrelevant. It's all about what you are thinking, what you are processing, what you are creating in your own life. You are thinking, I should have spent more time. You are feeling the guilt. The other person has gone where they were meant to go. If you were meant to spend more time with them, you would have spent. We understand the universe is making these plans. But now you, after the person has left, are thinking in your mind, why did I not go there? Why did I not serve them? Why did I not spend more time? Why did I not share more with them? So do it now. Just in your heart, hold that person's energy. You will feel that comfort in your own energy if you do it. And that's what we do in so many healings. So don't struggle with the fact that I couldn't do this and the person has moved on. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. The energy of that person will always connect to you when you reach out. And now I can say it 100% because I am so confident in channeling now. So definitely, again, what is the underlying purpose? The underlying purpose is to free yourself, isn't it? You say, has he forgiven me? Has she forgiven me? You forgive yourself and everybody will forgive you. It is only a thought in your mind that the other person has not forgiven you. But that is not important. What is more important is that you forgive yourself for whatever it is that you're blaming yourself, or even if I would say torturing yourself. Isn't it? The other person may not be holding so much against you. And if you really seek forgiveness from a pure, sincere heart, sincere intent, it will 100% be, 100% you will be made aware of that release. I don't know if it's making sense.
I have a question.
Yes.
Sometimes I have a problem with my knee or something. Now, I don't know how it has manifested in this. So when you were saying that you have to sort of forgive X, Y, Z or something, you're saying forgive yourself. What is it that I would say forgive myself for what, which has manifested this?
So there are two things to it. One is straight away the physical disease. I take full and complete responsibility for this pain in my knees. Just go direct. You don't have to have, very elaborate statements. You don't have to have very good grammar, or just have that intent that I take full and complete responsibility for this pain in my knees. Also, we say that pain in the knees, when we go to Body Mind Connect, pain in the knees comes a lot with fear. Arthritis comes a lot with criticism, right? And in our conscious mind, we may feel, I've always been a very forgiving person. I've always been a very simple person. I have not really gone into criticizing others. But it may not be just from this lifetime. Let's understand that, right? Like we say, the soul, the moment the body leaves, the soul leaves with those imprints, right? It takes birth in another body, those imprints still remain. So through many lifetimes, it may be manifesting in a different lifetime. It may not be at that time, right? So there is absolutely no harm to just study what is the Body Mind Connect for pain in the knees, or for arthritis, or for, and you don't judge yourself thinking that, no, but I'm not a person who criticizes. Let me say that I take full and complete responsibility for this criticism that I might have done.
Which has led to this.
Yeah, absolutely. Or the emotion of anger, like supposing somebody is having an issue in their liver and they feel, no, I'm not very angry. I don't hold on to anger. But we know liver is associated with anger. We know that. A lot of times, even when we go to the doctors for physical discomfort, the reports also may not say that there is some problem. That you may not be having those symptoms, but there is a vision beyond just what we can see, isn't it? So from the doctor's experience, he may say, okay, you take this medicine because in such symptoms, This is what it apparently is. So you do that. It's the same way with the emotion. I take responsibility for this anger and I ask to release it because I want to be free of it, isn't it? So you do the Ho'oponopono prayer for this pain in the knees, for this discomfort in the knees, and just ask for forgiveness that whatever it is that might have caused this or brought me to this point today, I'm ready to release it today because I don't want to live with this pain anymore. I just don't want to live with this pain anymore.
Okay.
So when you have that clear intent in your heart, you'll see that you'll be able to be at ease with it.
Okay. Thank you.
Right? Yes,
Thank you.
Rishti, Tanvi, please ask.
Auntie, can't we do the Ho'oponopono prayer for a bad dream we have?
For a
Or in case we had a bad dream, like while sleeping or something like that?
absolutely, you can. You can do it for anything. You can do it for anything. Feeling anxious, feeling nervous. I take responsibility for this fear. See, the dream will create an emotion, isn't it?
Yeah, if it's a bad dream, for example, or
So
maybe
it will be
a
suddenly,
dream
maybe you feel panicky, maybe you feel angry, or not angry really in a dream. Maybe you feel fearful, isn't
Yeah.
it? Maybe you feel anxious. So
Yeah.
pick up that emotion. I take full and complete responsibility for this anxiety that I'm feeling due to this dream. And start saying it. You will, if you keep repeating that last statement, you'll see you'll
Yeah.
come into a space of neutrality.
Okay, auntie. Got it.
Why don't we all do it? If there are no more questions, why don't we just do it for the next 5-7 minutes? Let me guide you into it. Each one of you can take your issues.
Can I ask something?
Yes, Neelam, please go ahead.
Is it like that when we get fearful, only then we do the Ho'oponopono prayer, or should we do it regularly? Fearful or anxious or whatever negative emotion, angry, immediately we need to do it, or we
See, if you can remember, you should just do it immediately so that it doesn't get imprinted only. But supposing you've not been able to remember, because sometimes when we are caught up with that emotion, the emotion is so strong and so powerful that it begins to consume us, doesn't it?
correct?
Right? So what is it that we need to do? We need to at that moment step back, and if we don't remember, whenever we are feeling, we'll go back to that thought, isn't it?
Yeah,
We go back to that thought because we're not feeling comfortable.
correct.
When you do it at that time, if you remember at that time, it will be very good because you'll actually disassociate with that whole argument or that fight, and you'll come into the space where you'll be able to, deal with it from a better point. Your mind will shift from that argument or that issue, and you'll come into a prayerful mode, isn't it?
Correct.
It will definitely help.
Yeah, right.
Like I'm talking about myself. So once we get this whole Ho'oponopono into our system now, it just keeps
Yeah.
moving in the heart and mind all the time.
Absolutely.
It becomes like a
Absolutely.
mantra.
Absolutely, it becomes like a mantra, no doubt at all.
So relieving, and it I think gives you a lot of security. At least for me, I find a lot of strength in it. When it just comes up.
Yeah. So you keep repeating it and you come into a space of neutrality with it. You come into what we say is a space of zero, where the issue does not really create any emotions. Yes, you can do it for multiple issues. It's like a prayer. I mean, if you're praying for good health, you could even be praying for money tomorrow. You could be praying for your child's exam. You could be praying for anything. It's the same way. It's a prayer. Just understand it's a prayer. Why could you not do it for anything? But just that you feel more specifically that you're focusing on issue A, then on issue B, then on issue C, but you can do it together also. I take responsibility for this, and start saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you. Thank you.
Just a question, Sujata. I think I missed out the last conversation last Sunday, but you just said that you had discussed which emotion leads to what?
Yeah. So we had scanned the entire body from the head to the toe. Most of the common ailments that we have, they always have an underlying emotion. It's on YouTube. I'll send you the link. You listen to it.
Okay.
Okay. So it's like when we have anger, it comes from the liver. When we have bitterness, it comes from the pancreas. When we have, Cancer, it comes from resentment. So you'll understand. I mean, once you listen to it, it'll make a lot of sense.
Okay. Thank you.
Right.
Thank
And that's why when we talk about the knees, it's a lot about rigidity. Arthritis is a lot about criticism, and that's why they develop in the later years of our life. We also hold fears in our knees. And again, it's not to say that it's just these emotions. There are many other factors also. But the fact is that it has been proven that when we work with these emotions for the ailment, for the disease that we are struggling with, it definitely gets us into a space of comfort.
Okay.
Okay, so let's do it quickly before we close today. Yeah, just settle down in your spaces. And each of you can pick up any issue, whether it is a physical discomfort, whether it's a emotional issue that you're going through, whether it's a mental imbalance that you're feeling, whatever it is that you're feeling, you can pick up this prayer for that. So just settle down in your spaces. Always remember that whenever you're praying, just try to be absolutely here. Your mind will keep popping up and take you to various places, but just bring your attention totally here. And one of the simplest ways of bringing your attention totally into the present moment is by focusing on your breath. So just feel your breath moving at the tip of your nostrils, meaning bring your awareness here, bring your awareness to your heart center. By doing these, you totally arrive here, totally in the present moment. And just in your heart say, I take full and complete responsibility for, and just state your issue. Don't worry about the sentence being correct, the grammar being correct, whatever it is that you're struggling with. I take full and complete responsibility for this lack of focus, pain in my knees, pain in my shoulder, discord with my partner, argument with my child, whatever it is. I take full and complete responsibility for this. Please erase all programs and records from my memory that is causing this to happen. Please erase all programs and records from my memory that is causing this to happen. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Just keep repeating it till you feel a sense of completion. And suddenly you may feel, oh, this is not what is troubling me. Something else is making me feel uncomfortable. I take responsibility for this, whatever the next issue is. And I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Just go to YouTube and type this. It's called the Ho'oponopono prayer, and you'll find a lot of it with music, beautiful music. You'll find a lot of them on YouTube too. And the sequence doesn't matter. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. It doesn't matter. It will totally bring you into a space of neutrality. Anybody who's practicing it, how does it feel? Anybody who wants to share? See, it brings us into such a peaceful space.
The body feels a little calmer.
Yeah. But it's okay. It's like whatever else you do Reiki in a different way. This prayer has its own energy, but it's basically trying to raise your vibrations, you know. And it's a very, very deep thing. I'm not going into the detail. Actually, there's a whole 2-day workshop that you could do on this, understanding this prayer. But even if you just do it without any understanding, it always helps. I always tell people to even teach it to the young children, you know, whenever they are feeling any form of a discomfort. When I work with young children, I always tell them, let's just start saying this. So it's really powerful. You cannot escape it. The benefits will 100% come. Just remember to do it. Yes, it's really calming, Chandni. I totally agree. So keep repeating this. Keep your energy high. Fully enjoy the festive season. And of course, we'll be having our Reiki, and whenever we are doing something, it will be announced in the group. Thank you so much for joining in. Lots and lots of love to all of you. Thank you.